The following program was produced by the United States Courts.
Good morning, I'm Javier Hernandez with the Federal Courts, coming to you live from the Lincoln Memorial on the National Mall in Washington, D.C.
And I'm Bridget Lyles. On behalf of the third branch of government, we'd like to welcome you to this celebration of Constitution Day and Citizenship Day, which coincides with the 100th anniversary of the National Park Service. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful September day.
We'd also like to thank the National Park Service and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services for hosting this naturalization ceremony in our nation's capital and at other parks around the country today. From Ellis Island to New York to Yosemite National Park in California, there will be over 40 ceremonies taking place at national parks and historic landmarks.
Constitution Day and Citizenship Day is celebrated annually to commemorate the signing of our Constitution on September 17, 1787, and the rights it grants to all citizens. The Civics Renewal Network, a collaboration between the U.S. courts, the American Bar Association, and dozens of partners, help coordinate events around the country to promote the importance of civics education. This is the third year the federal courts are expanding the reach of this annual national initiative.
Today we'll cover celebrations of Constitution Day and Citizenship Day taking place at the Lincoln Memorial here in Washington, D.C. and Ellis Island in New York Bay across from the iconic Statue of Liberty. There, U.S. courts will live stream naturalization ceremonies for the first time. On August 25th, the National Park Service commemorated 100 years of preserving federal parks and historic sites for the public to enjoy. On that day, the National Park Service and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services hosted naturalization ceremonies at the World War II Memorial, just on the other side of the reflecting pool, and from the Grand Canyon in Arizona. The Grand Canyon, a national park since 1919, provided an awe-inspiring backdrop for those who were naturalized there. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that ceremony.
Since 2006, the National Park Service has partnered with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services to hold naturalization ceremonies in the most spectacular places in the United States. Here at the Grand Canyon National Park in Arizona, 15 internationals are privileged to become American citizens.
United States District Court for the District of Arizona is now in session. The Honorable Deborah M. Fine presiding.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, candidates. It's my pleasure to convene these naturalization proceedings here in this special place. I'd like to focus upon the vast richness that you and your families bring to the United States. The energy, the enthusiasm that you have contributes to our great nation. Upon administration of the oath of allegiance, your motion will be granted. I hereby declare on oath.
New United States citizens represent a source of pride and inspiration for America. And no place is more emblematic of what it means to be an American than our national parks.
It is my pleasure to grant the motion admitting each and all of you to be citizens of the United States of America. Welcome, fellow citizens.
On the 100th birthday of the National Park Service, a new generation of American citizens have been invited to help write the next page in American history and take part in the national pride and appreciation for sites uniquely American, like the Grand Canyon National Park.
We congratulate all of those who became U.S. citizens on that day. We are privileged to be joined by Chief Judge Beryl Howe of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, who will swear in the candidates today. Thank you for being with us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You're about to make a lot of dreams come true here at the memorial. What's it feel like?
It's always the greatest privilege and most fun that any federal judge has presiding over a naturalization ceremony, and particularly here at this setting with facing the Washington Monument, the president who participated in the crafting of our Constitution, with the Jefferson Memorial to our right, the man who wrote the Declaration of Independence at the feet of the Lincoln Memorial. This is a particularly appropriate place to welcome new citizens, with the people surrounded by the memorials to the presidents who had a dream of what this country could accomplish. And we're now going to have new citizens who are going to have the opportunity to fulfill their dreams here in our country.
Now, it's the 225th anniversary of our Bill of Rights. What is it about the first 10 amendments of our Constitution that draws people from all over the world?
Well, since I'm at the feet of the Lincoln Memorial, I think it's appropriate to quote President Lincoln, who said that our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, are a beacon to the rest of the world to help preserve the inalienable rights that the founders of our country believed in. And given the events we read about in the papers, about events occurring around the world, it is no surprise that people are attracted to enjoy the democracy we enjoy, with the rights we are privileged to hold in our country.
Rose Rios.
Yes.
What's it like to be here to help swear in these new citizens today?
Well, for me, this is a personal dream come true. As the daughter of immigrants from Mexico, it is such a privilege to be asked to participate in this ceremony today, and especially knowing that the Lincoln Memorial holds one of the future images of our currency redesign to put women on our currency for the first time in the history of our country in terms of the front of the currency. This is very, very exciting. And so we will also have images of women on the back of the $5 bill representing the Lincoln Memorial.
And we now have a video from Judge Katzman, who is the Chief Circuit Judge of the Second Circuit in New York.
For most Americans, there is no conscious moment when we choose to become citizens. We are simply born that way. But for immigrants becoming new citizens, it is different, much different. Immigrants have to pass a civics test. They have to learn about the way this country actually operates, about its Constitution, about its system of government. They have to learn English. And so it is indeed a living civics lesson. As we watch these immigrants raise their hand and pledge in their oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, domestic and foreign, we are reminded that all of us have a responsibility to ensure that our Constitution remains strong and vibrant for generations to come. I congratulate our new citizens-to-be. I wish for them all the things they wish for themselves and more. It is an honor to be part of this ceremony.
Thank you, Judge Katzman. Today, Judge Katzman will be swearing in 302 new citizens from 58 different countries. We'll join him shortly as the ceremony at Ellis Island gets underway. For those who don't know, Ellis Island was the gateway to America for over 12 million immigrants to the United States from 1892 until 1954, when the immigration station closed. Ellis Island joined the Statue of Liberty Monument under the National Park Service in 1965 and is an inspiring location to conduct a naturalization ceremony today. This is the final step in what can be a very long process. Before you become a U.S. citizen, there's a waiting period. Then there's a vetting process. And as Judge Katzman mentioned, a language and civics test. In addition to the challenges of learning a foreign language, the questions on the test can be very difficult, even for those of us who were born citizens and studied government and civics in school.
Absolutely. It can be difficult to remember how many Supreme Court justices sit on the bench or how many amendments there are in the Constitution. 27, by the way.
You can see how hard the candidates being naturalized today have worked to get here, and there's no doubt they can't wait to get their certificates. These candidates' dreams are literally coming true today, and we get to be a part of it. It's an extraordinary experience.
Absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, today we're going to hear from Associate Justice Sonia Sotomayor, and I'm really looking forward to her comments as the first Supreme Court Justice of Hispanic heritage. She inspired so many of us. Sotomayor's parents migrated from Puerto Rico to the mainland United States and paved the way for her to go to college, become a lawyer, and rise to the Supreme Court bench.
All right, for now, we're going to take you to Ellis Island, New York, where their naturalization ceremony is already underway.
Please stand and remain standing until all countries have been called, and then Judge Katzmann will provide the oath. Albania, Antigua Barbuda, Argentina, Azerbaijan, Bangladesh.
We are now joining the ceremony here at the Lincoln Memorial, already in progress.
Present oath.
Here at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. We are now going to join the ceremony over at Ellis Island.
Chief Judge Katzmann, each of these 300 candidates has been personally examined under oath by a designated officer. Each has demonstrated an understanding of English, unless exempt, and knowledge and understanding of the fundamentals of history and the principles and form of the government of the United States. Each has been found to be a person of good moral character, attached to the principles of the Constitution of the United States, and well disposed to the good order and happiness of the United States. The investigations of the government have been completed in their cases, and each has been found to meet all the requirements of the law to be naturalized. Judge Katzmann, the candidates are ready to take the oath of allegiance.
Please raise your right hand. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen. That I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law. That I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law. That I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations. may be seated. My fellow citizens, how good it is to say that. Our country, this great country, is even stronger, even greater than it was moments ago, because you are now our citizens. How fortunate all of us are to have you here, contributing your hopes, your aspirations, your skills, your heritages, your cultures, your music, your literature, your food to the tapestry of this nation. The American story is your story. We are a grand quilt of cultures and diversity. As Director Coven said, you number some 300 from all over the world, from some 53 countries. In this, what I understand is the largest collective naturalization ceremony in the history of Ellis Island. Think of those like you who came through this island, Ellis Island, the gateway of their hopes, often different in their cultures, color, and religion and personal circumstance, often with just pennies to their name. However different they might have been from one another, they all shared a dream, your dream, a dream of a better life in this country, the repository, indeed, the engine of their dreams. They embraced a country whose Statue of Liberty proclaims, in the words of the poet Emma Lazarus, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free." Many of you have come at great sacrifice. I know something about the immigrant experience, being the son of a refugee from Nazi Germany and the grandson of Russian immigrants. I can still hear the accents and voices of my youth. Excuse me. Of family members like you who believed in this country, who with their toil, their sweat, their loyalty, and conviction celebrated being citizens of the United States, who made lives here, who had families of which I'm a beneficiary, and of which you and your children will be beneficiaries. Let your children and their children know your stories, be enriched by your cultures, your past, as they enjoy their lives as U.S. citizens. The U.S. story, as I said, is your story. We are a tapestry of cultures. I know our newest citizens, many of whom have had lives scarred by oppression, hunger, war, and fear, understand deeply the values of freedom of speech and worship, the right to vote and change governments peacefully, and the guarantees of due process in a court of law. My father, who experienced Nazi tyranny as a boy and as a teenager, told me of the great feeling he had when he got to this country, of being free, of being able to walk the streets, of not having to fear being accosted because of his religion. Understanding that past has not only fortified my own resolve to ensure that ours is a country that remains true to its principle of justice for all, I think it has fortified the resolve of so many who've had similar pasts. Too many of us who are native-born take for granted the freedoms we enjoy. For native-born Americans, there is no conscious moment when they choose to be a United States citizen. They are born that way. But for you and the nearly 700,000 new Americans naturalized by federal judges every year, the experience of citizenship is quite different. After intensive study of civics and English, You raised your hand and swore, as you just did, to support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Constitution and Citizenship Day, which we celebrate today, as Director Coven noted, is indeed, thanks to you, a living civics lesson as we witness the final step of those foreign-born who are about to become new citizens. And as you, our new citizens, raised your hand and pledged to defend the Constitution, the rest of us should take a few moments to reflect on the liberties it grants us, to realize that we must be ever vigilant to protect those liberties, which those of you, our newest citizens, can tell from their own experiences in repressive regimes are precious and not to be taken for granted. And you will find many who share with you that commitment to ensure justice for all. I note, for example, the presence today of the Fellows of the Immigrant Justice Corps and its dynamic Executive Director, Jojo Annabelle. The Immigrant Justice Corps, an organization I helped start, is an organization of newly minted lawyers and recent college graduates, many with immigrant backgrounds themselves, dedicated to providing high-quality legal assistance to immigrants. Indeed, thanks to the support of the Immigrant Justice Corps and one of our community fellows, there is among us today a newly naturalized citizen who had the support of one of those fellows. Thinking about this wonderful day, I want to read a couple of words of the great judge from my court, Learned Hand. The time was World War II. The country was under great threat. The setting, Central Park, the year 1944, and the swearing in of new citizens. Judge Hand, the Chief Judge of the Second Circuit, spoke of the liberty, the spirit of liberty, which gave our immigrants the courage to break from the past and brave the dangers and loneliness of a strange land. Liberty that is understood as freedom from oppression, freedom from want, freedom to be ourselves. Judge Hand said, "The spirit of liberty is the spirit which is not too sure that it is right. The spirit of liberty is a spirit which seeks to understand the minds of other men and women. The spirit of liberty is the spirit which weighs their interests alongside its own bias. The spirit of liberty remembers that not even a sparrow falls to earth unheeded." I have no doubt that the spirit of liberty will thrive with you as citizens. To become a citizen, you passed every test. And as polls show, you know more about our Constitution, about our government, than most native-born Americans. Because of your personal histories, you have a special feeling for the freedoms and liberties and rights in the Constitution and the need to preserve them. You will keep this country great. You will make it better as you assume the responsibilities of citizenship. Indeed, as my father often said to me, it is each of our responsibilities to keep this country great, to point out where things need to be improved, to ensure that our freedoms are vital for the generations to come. On April 6, 1923, a young woman born in Minsk, Russia, fleeing the repressive regime of the USSR, made the arduous journey through Poland and England, and then arrived on a boat, the Aquitania, and came to this island, Ellis Island. She would later marry another Russian immigrant who, even before he was naturalized as a United States citizen in 1920, had fought for this country in the First World War. They worked hard, she in a pocketbook factory, he as a tailor. Together, they raised 2 children. They believed in this country so deeply. I knew them well. They were my grandparents. It means more to me than I can say that I stand here, in some sense, as their representative, as I am also in some sense a representative of my father, born in Germany, and his mother, who came together in March of 1941. The American dream is about aspiration and achievement. I wish for all of you here, as I know my family of immigrants would wish for you, every success and happiness, and that all your dreams for yourselves and your families will come true. I am grateful for the privilege of swearing you in as citizens, and I congratulate you.
What inspiring remarks by Chief Judge Katzman of the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in New York. So now we're going to come back to the ceremony that's here in progress at the Lincoln Memorial on the National Mall in Washington.
Generations of immigrants like you have come to this country seeking a place where democracy is not just an ideal but a reality, where opportunities are available for everyone, regardless of creed, gender, race, religion, or country of origin.
You're watching live coverage of Constitution Day and Citizenship Day from the Lincoln Memorial. We're now going to take you back to Ellis Island in New York to rejoin their ceremony in progress.
Please put your right hand over your heart, please, and recite after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so that was the Pledge of Allegiance at Ellis Island. We're now going to rejoin the ceremony in progress here at the Lincoln Memorial.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may all be seated, and the students are going to now recite the preamble to the Constitution of the United States.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect unity,
establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility,
provide the common defense, promote the general welfare,
and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our prosperity. To do ordain this Constitution
for the United States of America.
Thank you. Wow.
That was the students of Schools Without Walls at Francis Stevens with a recitation of the Constitution's preamble. We have a few letters written by students addressing these naturalized citizens to share with you. Always remember that the government exists to serve you. Our government encourages you to speak what you believe is right and what the government has failed to do. That's a classic First Amendment right. And Clarissa wrote, as a citizen, you make a difference. If there's a problem in your community, if you don't like something that's happening, step in and stand up for your rights. Their sentiments are echoed by all of us here today as these new citizens celebrate this moment.
We're now going to go back to the ceremony in progress here at the Lincoln Memorial on the National Mall in Washington.
By your conduct and your qualifications and your actions here this morning, you've each earned your rightful place to be called American citizens. So congratulations to each of you again.
We now have a special message from President Obama to the citizens here today. Let's take a look.
It's an honor and a privilege to call you a fellow citizen of the United States of America. This is now officially your country, your home to protect, to defend, and to serve through active and engaged citizenship. Together, we are a nation united not by any one culture or ethnicity or ideology, but by the principles of opportunity, equality, and liberty that are enshrined in our founding documents. Today marks a very special day in your life. You've traveled a long path to get here. You've sworn a solemn oath to this country, and now you have all the rights of citizenship. With the privileges of citizenship, though, come great responsibilities. And so I ask that you use your freedoms and your talents to contribute to the good of our nation and the world. Always remember that in America, no dream is impossible. Like the millions of immigrants who have come before you, you have the opportunity to enrich this country through your contributions to civic society, business, culture, and your community. You can help write the next great chapter in our American story. And together we can keep the beacon that is America burning bright for all the world to see. I am proud to welcome you as a new citizen of this country. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless the United States of America.
Thank you, President Obama, for those words of encouragement and hope.
Congratulations to all of those who were naturalized here today and at Ellis Island, as well as those thousands of candidates who were naturalized across the United States in U.S. courthouses and national historic places and national parks across the country. We welcome you.
And now, without further ado, we have a special message from Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor to all citizens naturalized today.
Thank you for the opportunity to participate in this very special celebration. I regret that I cannot be with you in person, but it is my pleasure and delight to welcome each of you as a citizen of the United States of America. Today, our nation celebrates Constitution Day, also called Citizenship Day. Our country has set aside this day to recognize the signing of the United States Constitution. I am sure that now you will add today to your list of special days to celebrate. At least once a year, you should take a day to remember how hard you have worked to earn your citizenship and to provide your family with the hopes and dreams that this nation offers you. Today's ceremony marks the conclusion of a significant journey in each one of your lives. For many of you, this journey was filled with tremendous barriers and adversity. Some of you persevered through difficult and dangerous circumstances, fleeing injustice, intolerance, and oppression. Yet all of you were determined to secure the right to call this country, the United States, home. For me, an Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court, it is truly a privilege and an honor to congratulate you on your achieving citizenship and to recognize you as fellow citizens. Although my own parents were born in Puerto Rico, a United States territory, they too were migrants. Through their experiences, I can appreciate that for many of you, if not all of you, the price of citizenship has been very high. Leaving your birthplaces behind, perhaps leaving family and friends behind, all while adapting to a new life and a new culture, is never easy. I admire your courage and commend your spirit. Seeing all of you here today, as we celebrate your very first Citizenship Day, reminds me in a very personal and moving way that America does mean freedom and liberty. Not just freedom and liberty from oppression, but freedom and liberty to pursue one's dreams, to be all that one can be, to accomplish all that one can accomplish. I wish I could describe the United States of America as perfect. As citizens, you and I are well aware that it is not. And there is still work to be done. Yet the need to dream, the need to hope, that is what is important. That is the gift of America. Your presence at today's ceremony is a testament to your own faith in those timeless principles and an indication of the role you will play in helping to preserve and to expand the promise of America for generations to come. But with freedom and liberty and opportunity comes responsibility. You are now citizens. Remember to make your voices heard. It is your right and your obligation to vote, because voting is your fundamental way of expressing your views. Remember, however, that voting is not the only way to contribute. Write your elected officials and express your views. Volunteer your time and talents. Become an active part of our community. When called for jury service, come and serve. This is one of the most central and important obligations of citizenship. I also ask you not to forget your backgrounds and the cultures that you came from. We can all constantly learn from each other and from our differences. The history of our nation proves that our collective success depends on the contributions of Americans by choice, every bit as much as the contributions of Americans by birth. We know that all people, no matter what their birthplace, their ethnic or religious background, how rich or how poor, continue to share in creating this country. The diverse people of this country are its greatest strength. We can all appreciate that we are infinitely richer by our diversity, and that by honoring our diversity, the promise of America will continue to shine on us, on our children, and throughout the world. And now, my fellow citizens, a very special congratulations to you on this most momentous occasion. My very best wishes for many years of happiness, success, and good health as citizens of the United States of America.
Joining us today is Despina. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
so
you.
happy for you. Now tell us where you're from.
I'm from Greece, and I've been in the U.S. now for 25 years.
Wonderful. So what does this mean for you and also your family?
It's really kind of special. It's really amazing. You think that this is just a formality, that's just a little kind of technical process, but it isn't. It feels very emotional, and it feels like a real introduction or a real kind of return to home, to some kind of version of home. It's really wonderful.
Now talk to us about that, because a lot of these ceremonies, they'll take place like in a courtroom, but to be here
it's lovely. It's amazing. And we didn't expect it. We didn't know. It just so happens because it's in DC and because it's the National Park Service centennial. So it's fantastic. The symbolism of the space, the symbolism of the memorials being here, it's really fabulous.
So briefly talk to us about your day. I saw you mixing and mingling with, are you meeting some new friends?
Yeah, it's wonderful. We're all in the same situation. We're all very excited. It's kind of interesting to think about who's next to you and this feeling of becoming new citizens together and being in a new community together. Yeah, the people that I was sitting next to, we chatted a little bit and we exchanged numbers. It's kind of, it's really special. My dad was watching this on live stream from Greece. So, hi, Dad.
Compliments of uscourts.gov,
That's
right?
Great. Thank you very much for the service.
All right. Well, thank you again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Joining us here is Robin Nixon. Thank you so much for talking with us. And you're
Thanks
with the
for having us.
Absolutely. You're with the National Park Service.
I am. I'm here at the National Mall and Memorial Parks working with, I'm the Chief of Partnerships, so I work with other organizations in the community to help take care of the parks and support citizen engagement. This kind of caps off our centennial celebration for this year, and I just couldn't be happier. It's a wonderful and moving experience, and how nice to look back and say, I became a United States citizen in front of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, it is. Well, thank you so much for your service and for putting all of this together. Javier, I'm going to toss it right back to you.
Thank you, Bridget. What an exciting moment for these new U.S. citizens and their families. As they embark on this new chapter of their lives, we've literally watched dreams come true today. Once again, we'd like to congratulate all who were naturalized and thank everyone who participated. We would also like to thank the National Park Service, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services for their support. From all of us here at the U.S. Courts in Washington, D.C., thank you for joining us.